Hey guys, it's Melissa. Happy Thursday. I hope you are all having a fabulous week. I don't know where mine got to be honest with you, but it is Throwback Thursday, and not only do I have a great little tutorial for you today on a trick to use HTV, make it a lot easier to weed when you are working with a full sheet and a design that has like kind of a lot of open areas and you end up struggling to fight with that HTV. But I also am going to use a design, a funny farmhouse design from So Fancy's Funny Farmhouse Bundle, which is back today only. And I threw the link up top for you there. So what we are going to do is take this design, which most people probably might want to put on a sign because it's like, you'll see, it's a round design. It has like a little kind of a wreathy thing around and it says go away. Well, I'm not going to put it on a sign. I'm going to make it easier for myself and cut it in HTV, and then we are going to put it on a tote, okay? So here's the thing though, when you cut this HTV, and I have it in Silhouette Studio here, but my Silhouette Studio is acting a little bit up, so it's hard to see. So what I actually did was I put a rather large offset around the design, the entire design. I'm going to show you once we cut it why this is so much easier to do. So I put an offset around the design, not because I want to use the offset, not for layering, nothing like that, literally just to make it easier to weed. Okay, so we're going to cut this together on the Cameo 4. This can obviously be done on the Pro, the Plus, the Portrait, the 3, the 2, the 1, the whatever you have, okay? All right, so let's get this cutting. And then I am going to, really the trick comes when we're weeding. Okay, so we will weed this all together. I am using the 1 millimeter, manual blade because I like to have a little more control over things. I'm not like a control freak. Maybe I am. But we'll send this to cut. It's obviously cutting in reverse. And it does have to cut a little bit extra, like I said, because I put that large offset around the whole thing. But you're going to see that this is going to, it's basically an alternative to adding weeding lines. So weeding lines go through the entire design. They're these just like straight cut lines, and you can kind of like pull them off in strips. What this does is it essentially makes weeding offsets. So I have the design, and this will work for text or it'll work for designs, which you'll see because this is a combination of both. So I added those basically weeding boxes, if you will, but in the shape of the text, and I'm going to weed those out first. Then I will have a much easier time weeding around the excess part of the design. So this is going to help prevent me from trying to fight with this full sheet, because this is a 12 by 12 design. So it's pretty big, which means you end up having excess around the edges, and it's kind of pulling. And with HTV, because the quarter sheet is sticky, it wants to stick to itself. No, we're not doing any of that. We're making things easier, right? So that's what we're going to do. I have my heat press warming up to, I don't know why it's at 316. It's supposed to be at 305, but we're going to use that for HTV. Now, I will also tell you, this is a sublimation tote, but I'm using heat transfer on it, which you can do. Did you know that? Same with like, if you have a sublimation mug, you can put regular vinyl on it if you want, okay? All right, for those of you just joining, the design that we are doing today is from the So Fancy Funny Farmhouse Bundle, which is back today only. So go ahead and grab that if you want it. This design comes with it along with a bunch of other really funny ones. I love because they're like kind of clean, funny. There's one that says Manure Happens, and I really wanted to do that one, but I didn't know if, I just wasn't sure if I was going to carry around a bag that said Manure Happens, especially because I live in southern Orange County, not anywhere near any kind of farm. Okay, I don't know. So anyway, so this one says go away, so maybe I'll just do that. All right, so while this is cutting, we're just gonna wait. Make sure that your heat press is warmed up. Again, I'm using my 15 by 15 heat press. This is a swing away 8-in-1, great for things like mugs, tumblers, bags, hats, plates, everything, because it can do all of it. So while we're waiting, I'm just gonna get ready here. use my weeding tool. The other thing is you can actually weed, and swing aways make this kind of easy. You can weed right on your heat press. So the bottom of the heat press is obviously getting warm. The radiant heat up and down make it so that the HTV pulls much easier off of the transfer sheet, and I'll show you that as well. Once this is done cutting, we'll do all of that. So if you combine both these things together, the offset weeding, the weeding offsets, we'll call them. Did I just invent a new technique? If you combine that with weeding on the heat press, you will be in really good shape. So let's get you set up so you guys can see, because this is going to take a second to finish up here. So what we're going to do, I'm going to pull, this is always tricky for me, so we'll pull this to the side and we'll weed here, okay? Yeah, so this thing always kind of gets in my way, right? You never have enough room. I have all this space and still not enough room. Okay, so let's go back down here so you can see what's happening here. Pull this to the side. Now, I never remove this from the machine until I do a test weed. Do you know what a test weed is? It's when you come over here and you find a little spot and you see, usually like in between a letter that needs to be weeded out, okay? I test to make sure that it will weed correctly. And if it does, then I know that I can remove it. If this was a struggle to pull out, then what I would do is I would send it through again. So I would just click, send again in Silhouette Studio. If you already took it out, you're not going to be able to reload it in the exact same spot. But if you hit send again and it's still in there, it will cut in the same spot, okay? So that's that. Now, whoops, now I'm throwing things. Now I'm going to trim down my design. You cannot see my design. I can barely see my design, but it is there. I'm going to trim it down a little bit, and I'm going to show you what we did. Okay, so remember, we made what's essentially a weeding box with offsets, okay? So the first part of this, I'm going to weed right here, and then I'll put the rest of it on the heat press so you can see that. So let's pull you down here. Hopefully you don't get a good look in my trash can, which is way over full. All right, so I like to get one good look here at where I need to pull. Okay, so now I am gonna clip this in half right here, so I'm not, because this is a circle, so I don't wanna pull the whole thing. So what I'm doing, the design is actually, and this is gonna reveal itself here in a minute. You'll be able to see. This. So, do you see the design coming? This is the design. And in Silhouette Studio, I put the weeding box around the design, all right? For this exact purpose. Otherwise, I would be fighting with all of this HTV, okay? Now, you could go one step further and adjust the depth of the cut on the offset, because some of you are going to say, well, couldn't you just use that for another design? And you absolutely could if you cut it all the way through the carrier sheet, okay? That's not this tutorial, so I didn't do that. I don't like to throw too much at you at once, but I want you to see the benefit of this. Now, there is a design inside of here. There's the text that says go away, and that's the part that I'm going to weed next, and I put an offset around that as well. All right, so I have a little piece here that I need to clip, pull. I have a little piece here. See how this was easier to weed? Because I made those offsets. It's just so much easier when you do this, and you don't have to mess with weeding boxes. Just a large offset. This one was about, I think it was about 2.2, okay? All right, so now I'm gonna do the same thing, but I'm gonna come over here to my heat press. And weed on the heat press, and that is going to, this is warm, okay, so it's going to make it easier. Now watch how this, I just need to make sure I'm pulling the right area. I'm like trying to see, you just don't want to, I like to get, okay, so I'm going to put this down. Now watch how this is so easy. Can you kind of see what I'm doing? If you're watching this back later on YouTube and you're like, wow, she's a mess, she should edit her videos, which I get that comment from time to time, my response is I do these live so you can see live what happens without any editing, because not everyone will do live videos, and I understand why. It's, you know, my hands don't usually shake while I'm weeding vinyl, except when I have all of my fine Silhouette School friends here watching me do this live. Okay, so here is our design. That is the offset that I put around it, okay? It's actually upside down. So now what I can do is weed the rest of this. So this is all excess. So now I'm not fighting with this huge piece around my very intricate design. I had much more control. Yes, I have to weed off a few more pieces because I added the offset. But now, not only do I have smaller pieces to weed, but I'm weeding right on my heat press, and I'm using the radiant heat. So when you put all of these little tricks together, you become tricky. When you put all of these tricks together, you will have the best chance of success, especially when it comes to weeding vinyl. And this process, I should tell you, this process would also work on adhesive vinyl, okay? And adhesive vinyl, as you know, has its own set of pitfalls because it's sticky. So the backing's not sticky, but you risk it sticking to itself, all right? So I love when you turn over HTV and you see the design. Okay, so now we just have this one large piece that I need to get rid of, okay? So this I'll just break around the edge here. And now I can pull this. So what you would see is, because there are breaks in this design, this entire piece was all one. Can you imagine trying to weed that? It would have been a mess. It would have all been sticking to itself. I would have really been needing that design that says manure happens, because I can tell you that's probably what would have happened. Ta-da! Okay, so perfect round sign design, right? But yeah, we're not going to do that. We are going to put it on a bag. Yay! Okay, so let me grab my bag. Sublimation bag, but we're using for HTV today. Okay, I'm actually going to, I'm going to do it like this. And I'm going, wait a second, where's mine? Oh, yep, my things fall. Again, those of you watching later who are going to comment, get yourself together, Melissa. Sorry about your luck, but if you're a real crafter, I can guarantee you that your pressing pillow has been on the floor, you can't find your scissors, you weeded the wrong thing, you pressed it upside down. I mean, come on, people. Right? We've all been there. Okay, so here we go. Pressing on a pressing pillow, specifically for bags, is really important because you have the straps, which are thick and can cause you to get uneven pressure from your heat press. Even on a heat press that's a swing away like this. All right? Okay, so here we go. 20 seconds. Oh boy, I got too much pressure. Hang on. Oh boy, I should have tested that. Okay. Whew. Good thing I've been doing my working out. But you don't want too much pressure because that will be a problem too. Okay? All right, so 20 seconds or so, right? And then we will pull off the transfer sheet. Okay? Make sure that it has pressed. Okay. So many tricks today. Add those offsets. Weed on your heat press. Subtly tell people what you want them to do. get the Throwback Thursday bundle if you'd like funny farmhouse. Okay? All right, you guys. Sublimation blanks work for vinyl and adhesive and HTV. So many tricks today. So many tricks. I love you guys. All right, you guys. I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day, rest of your week. If May is driving you bonkers like it is to me with a middle schooler graduating and an 8th grader graduating and a concert every night and a recital every night and a school trip, class trip. Oh, Melissa, can you do 90 shirts? Why'd I say yes? I feel you. I see you. Make it easier on yourself and just tell people, right now I need you to go away. Okay? I'm done. Capped out. All right, you guys. Have a good one. I'll see you later.